this question. I showed you yesterday how to turn a fractional root into a factor that doesn't have a fraction, so it's easier to divide, but I'll do it again now anyway. So the first root we were given is x equal to a half. Now, you are asked here to show that x equal to half is a root. So I don't think I said that yesterday, but to show that it's a root, you basically need to sub it in, and you need to ensure that it, we talked about this yesterday, satisfies the equation. Okay, which, like I said, that's mathsy language for that. When you sub it in, you should get 0. Yeah, because that's what it says it's equal to. So I'm obviously going to do it on my calculator, but I would sub it in. So 32 times a half to the power of 4 minus 8 times a half to the power of 3 minus 52 times a half squared plus 42 times a half minus 9 equals 0. And if you sub the whole thing in, you do get 0 equals 0. So it works. Okay. So now that I know that that is a root and I've shown that it's a root, I now turn it into a factor. So like I was saying yesterday, if I want rid of this 2, I need to multiply it by 2 here and multiply it by 2 here. That gives me 2x on the left, and on the right the 2's cancel, and it equals 1. And then I'm trying to get that equals 0 on the right hand side, so I minus the 1 minus the 1, and that gives me 2x minus 1 equals 0. And that is one of the factors of this to the power of 4 equation. So the fact that it's to the power of 4, it is going to have 4 roots, 4 factors. So we were given the first root, and I've now turned that into a factor. So I'm going to divide that in. So 2x minus 1 divided into 32x to the 4 minus 8x cubed minus 52x squared plus 42x minus 9. Okay, so we divide in exactly the same way we did in class yesterday, following the exact same rules. So 2x into 32x to the 4 is 16x cubed. Multiply the 16x cubed by the 2x minus 1. So that is 32x to the 4 minus 16x cubed. Sorry. Change the signs. So this is a plus, so it'll become a minus, and this is a minus, so it'll become a plus. Okay. So I have the 32's, x to the 4 is cancelling. And then my minus 8 plus 16 is going to be 8x cubed. And then I'm going to bring down my minus 52x squared. And I'm going to start again. Okay, so then 2x into 8x cubed is 4x squared. Multiply the 4x squared by the 2x minus 1. And I get 8x cubed minus 4x squared. And then this is positive, so make it minus. And then the 4 at the moment is negative, so make it plus. Cancel the 8's, and now I have minus 48x squared. Bring down the 42x, and we go again. So we're going 2x into the minus 48x squared, which is minus 24x. Multiply that by the 2x minus 1, and I get minus 48x squared and plus 24x. This is a minus, so I make it a plus, and this is a plus, so I make it a minus. And then I cancel my 48s, and I get, what is that? 42. Oh. Yeah. Sorry. So 18x for 42 minus 24. And then bring down my minus 9. And one last time, 2x into 18x is plus 9. Multiply the 9 by 2x minus 1, and I get 18x minus 9. Change the sign, so this is positive, make it negative. This is negative, make it positive. So they cancel. Right, so I have said that this is an equation to the power of 4, so it has 4 factors. I found one of the factors up here, and now I know that the other 3 factors are hidden in here. So I did notice this yesterday, so we're going to have to break this up, which basically means solving the cubic equation. So I have 16x cubed plus 4x squared minus 24x plus 9. And I'm going to need to find a root. Now, I put this as a note because we only did whole number factors. We only did a whole number root yesterday. But the fact that the original factor here was, the original root here was a half, it's very likely that it's also going to be a half as a root here. So what I'm doing is I have my calculator in front of me, I'm pressing menu setup, and I'm choosing number 3 so that I have my fx table. I'm typing in 16 alpha x cubed plus 4 alpha x squared minus 24 alpha x plus 9, hitting equals past g of x. I'm going to start with minus 5. I'm going to end at 5. That should be more than enough. Now, instead of going up in steps of 1, I'm going to go up in steps of a half. Okay, to get those fractions. So, right, just fixed it. So if I go up in steps of a half and you look at your table, I think you find that x equals minus 1.5 is a root. Okay, so when you find your root, remember to sub it in and show the examiner what you're doing. Sub it in correctly, ideally. So I'm going to sub in my minus 1.5 cubed plus 4 times minus 1.5 squared minus 24 times minus 1.5 plus 9 equals 0, and that does give me 0. So that is a root. Now, like I did earlier, I need to turn that root into a factor. I don't want the decimal. So you are going to have to turn this into a fraction. So minus 1.5, if you're not good at this, type minus 1.5 into your calculator and press equals, and it will give you minus 3 over 2. Okay, so they're the same thing. Minus 1.5 is the same as minus 3 over 2. And then I can turn this root into a factor. So I'm going to multiply by 2. That will cancel my 2's on the right hand side. And on the left hand side, I will have 2x equals minus 3. And then I'm going to plus the 3 plus the 3. So I get 2x plus 3 equals 0. And that is a factor. Yeah? So we're going to divide that factor in. So 2x plus 3 divided into, I'm just going to scroll a little bit. You can see the equation there at the top. So I'm going to divide it into 16x cubed plus 4x squared minus 24x plus 9. Yeah? So 2x into 16x cubed is 8x squared. 8x squared multiplied out is 16x cubed plus 24x squared. And then we change the signs. So the 16 is positive, so I'm going to make it negative. And the 24 is positive, so I'm going to make it negative. So the 16's cancel. And it leaves me with minus 20x squared, and bring down the minus 24x. Start the process again, so divide the 2x into the minus 20x squared, and I get minus 10x, and then that multiplies out to be minus 20x squared minus 30x. This minus becomes a plus. This minus, sorry, becomes a plus. So my 20s, my 20x squareds are gone. And that gives me 6x. And then bring down my 9. And the last rotation, 2x into 6x is 3. Multiply the 3 by the 2x plus 3, and I get 6x plus 9. Change my sign, so the plus on the 6x will be gone and become a minus. And the plus on the 9 will become a minus, and that will cancel them out. So we know that 2x plus 3 was a factor. So now my last two factors are contained in here. So I need to break them apart. So I'm going to do that. That is now a trinomial. I'm going to do that using a guide number. So 8x squared minus 10x. The fact that I'm not looking for the factors, I'm looking for the roots. I can actually go straight to a minus b formula if you want. I'm going to do this one out because I have a feeling I might get two possible working factors here. So I just want to talk about that because we haven't done that in ages. Anyways, so I'm going to do guide. But you could do minus b. So the guide is 8 times 3, so that's your 24. And then factors are going to be 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 3 eighths, and 4 times 6. I'm looking for factors to make minus 10. So, what? These two can make minus 10. And these two can make minus 10. Yeah? So, let's start at the top. 2 and minus 12. To get them to make minus 10, I would need a plus on the 2 and a minus on the 12. Yeah? To get 4 and 6 to make minus 12, I would need a minus on the 4 and a minus on the 6. So, remember, only one of them is right. So, which one is it? They have to add to give you the middle number and multiply to give you the guide number. Okay, that's the rule. So add to give middle number, multiply to give guide number. Yeah? So both of these do add. So if I do plus 2 minus 12, I do get minus 10. That works. Okay, if I add the two of them together, I do get the middle number. So it kind of satisfies the first condition. But if I multiply them, plus 2 multiplied by minus 12, plus by minus is a minus, and 2 by 12 is 24. So that is giving me minus 24, which is wrong. Okay, now the other one should work. So minus 4 minus 6 is minus 10, which is the middle number. And then minus 4 times minus 6 is plus 24, which is the guide number. So it's going to be minus 4 and minus 6. All right, I just wanted to do that. I had a feeling that was going to happen. So 8x squared minus 4x minus 6x plus 3, and group them off. Common factor in the first bracket is 4x. Divide across by 4x and you get 2x minus 1. Common factor in the second bracket is going to be minus 3. Divide across by minus 3. The two minuses there with the first term is going to give me a plus 2x. And then divide this by minus 3, I'm going to get minus 1. So the brackets match, so my factors are 2x minus 1 and 4x minus 3. Okay, so my roots. My first root from the very beginning was x equals a half. My root then after the first step, where is it there? This one. So that was minus 3 over 2. And then my next two roots, so I have 2x minus 1 equals 0, and I'm going to get a root out of that. And then I have 4x minus 3 equals 0, and I'm going to get a root out of that. So plus the 1, plus the 1, so 2x equals 1, and then divide by 2, divide by 2. So I'm getting x equals a half. Talk about that in a second. And then plus 3 plus 3. So 4x equals 3. And then divided by 4, divided by 4. X equals 3/4. Alright, so they're my four roots. I don't know if you noticed that two of them are the same. That happens sometimes. It happened in quadratics. So it can happen in cubics. It can happen in anything. I don't know if you're going to remember this. Hopefully you do. It's referred to as a repeated root. So a repeated root is where the graph doesn't cross the axis. It just touches it. Yeah? So a repeated root, this is obviously not accurate, but for this graph, say that's 1, that there. This graph, now it could come from the bottom as well. I'm going to pretend it comes from the top. So it comes from the top, it comes down, it comes down, it comes down. And at that moment, it doesn't go through, it just touches off and then heads back off. Yeah? So that's why you're getting the same root twice. So it's going to be, you're going to learn about graphs to the power of 4 today. You just get another turn in it, you get another cross the axis. So we know that like a cubic graph looks like that. And when you have to the power of 4, you just get like another turn, essentially. It's very simplistic, but yeah. So it is very likely that you could get repeated roots or something like that, and that's exactly why the hat came up twice. Okay, but algebraically, rather than graphically, hopefully that's all right.